Alright, hello. So this is going to be a tutorial for Animal Crossing All Debts category. Timing starts on the screen just when you press start. So you press start and start your timer. So first thing I'll talk about is text in this game. The way to get through text fastest is to mash B and A at the same time. I usually alternate. Because B speeds it up and then A accepts the text box. You could just mash B, but that poses some problems that I'll show you in a minute. So yeah, the beginning is mostly just going to be mashing through text. Some things to note. Before you run this game, before you start a run, you want to make sure that you don't have a town save file. And you also need to set your Wii or GameCube clock to March 20th, 2013, in between 9 and 3, no, in between 9 and 5 p.m. Because that way, when Rover here asks you if it's the proper time, you can just tell him yes, and you won't have to waste time changing the clock. Alright, so for the name, you can do whatever you want. I usually just type an exclamation point or two because it's fast. That text box there where he asks if you think your name is cool or cute, that determines if you're a boy or a girl, which makes no difference in the run. So then this determines what your face looks like. I don't really care about it, so I just mash A and B. Alright, so this part's kind of cool. These text boxes will go as fast as you can mash, to an extent. So you just have to be fast there. Alright, then River comes back, asks you a few more questions. The first 4-5 minutes of this game is pretty much just smashing through text. Alright, so the train's gonna pull into the station here. Your shirt is totally random, but the flame shirt is fastest. Alright, so just run to the right, or to the left and then down. The way running works is you can hold down B, L, or R to run. B also picks up items though, so I would not ever recommend holding that down. I usually use L, so you want to just hold down L pretty much for the whole thing. Like you could just tape down your L button if you wanted to. Okay, so Tom Nook takes you here. The top left or the top right house are equally as fast. Just depends on where your Nook shop is going to be. So just walk up to the door and press A. It's going to send you in, and then if you hold down run and down, you'll leave as fast as possible. Alright, so this text box here is a tricky one. Because you're normally mashing A and B when you're coming out of the house to get the text. But if you mash B, it'll automatically select this option for you. And then you have to go in the house again. So that wastes like quite a few seconds, and you don't want to do that. So then you have to do it again here. So that's 2 tricky text boxes in a row. So make sure that when you come out of the house, you're mashing A carefully. So then you're going to go through this really long Nook text. Which you're just going to mash through. This is usually a good time to reach out or think about what you need to do in the run. So I guess here I'll talk about town layout. If you want to get a good time in this game, like to compete with me in Forest Raid, you're going to need your Nook's shop to be in either acre A2 or A4. Has to be. And then you need your post office to be in the opposite acre. So you need Tom Nook's in A2 and post office in A4 or vice versa. Right there when you hand the bells over, you need to make sure you're mashing A there as well. If you mash B, it's going to exit you out of the thing and not hand him the bells, and then you have to do it again. Which wastes like 3 seconds. Okay, so here, my Nook shop is an A1, so I would reset right now. But for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and go through everything. So you're going to run upwards, and you're going to look here at the map. So here's Tom Nook's shop, and here's the post office. So this layout isn't awful. Generally, if I have a 3-layer town, which is totally random, then I would probably reset, because those take a long time. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at this map and memorize it and encode it in your brain. So what I usually do to remember everything is I split it up into 4 quadrants. Top left, bottom right, top right. Does this map have it? Yeah, okay. Top right, bottom right. So in this case, I would say top right, 1 and 2, because those are your first 2 objectives. Because you need to introduce yourself to all of these villagers, as well as the mayor who is at the wishing well. So 1, 2 here, and then you want to like make a route on the fly. That's what's so fun about speedrunning this game, is that you get to like make up routes because the town is new every time. So 1, 2, and then I would go down across the bridge, run up to the wishing well for the 3rd, and then 4 is Bob right here in the bottom left. So that's top right, 1, 2, bottom left, 3, 4. And then run all the way back down up the ramp and grab 5, 6, 7 and go into Nooks. So that's going to be my route that I'll be taking. We've tossed around the idea of like taking pictures on a mobile phone, which is fine if you want to do that. I don't find it to be necessary though. It's kind of more fun to try and memorize it. So yeah, you might see me fumble around looking for houses because I get a little lost sometimes. It's hard to memorize it perfectly. I just know that they're in like this general vicinity. When you enter an acre with a villager in it, you'll hear them open their door and close it. It's really quiet, depending on how close you are to them. But that way you'll always know if you've entered an acre with a villager in it. I think the other one was here, yeah. Okay. And you want to take note of who they are, because what's going to happen is, for one of the chores before you get the map, Tom Nook's going to ask you to deliver furniture to one of these people. And if you don't remember where they are, then you're going to have to look at one of the 2 maps, which are both very slow. So it's a lot of memorization at the beginning and a lot of improv on the fly, which is really fun. Alright. So now we're going to run up to the wishing well. Also, okay, there's a police station that's always in the bottom half of the map, and you'll almost always run into it. It's usually in the way, like around everything else. And so this gives you a second chance to look at the map if you forgot something, and this won't waste very much time. So if you need it, it's there, sort of as a crutch. Okay, here's the wishing well. So you just run up to talk to Tortimer. He gives you 4 options, so they all are the same amount of text, so it doesn't matter which one you say. Run up and get Bob. So this is my 3rd out of 6 villagers. You have to introduce yourself to 6 villagers and Tortimer. Okay. I'm actually having a tough time remembering where all 3 of these people are. Alright, here's Pee-wee. Penny. I think the last one is here? Yes, Kiki. Okay. So that, if you counted, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 villagers and the mayor. So we are done with introductions now. That was kind of slow. It's really luck dependent, unfortunately. Okay, so he's going to ask you to change clothes. So you want to press either start or Y to pause. I prefer Y. And then, normally you would press A to open this little side menu and then press grab, but if you press L, you'll just automatically grab the item that you have, and then press L again to drop it onto your character. So there you can change quickly. Okay, so now we're going to start with chores. This can be kind of awkward, this first chore, and a bit of a pain to get used to. But you're just going to run out and just go through everything in your inventory and plant it. You sort of want the trees to be like out of the way because they might grow into full-grown trees, and you don't want just like random trees in your way. Alright, so there's all the flowers planted. No real like secret to that, it's just plant them as fast as you can. And again, to master text, it's just A and B, alternatively. Okay, so here's the furniture that you have to remember where the villager is. So luckily I got Kiki, which is really close. It's very lucky for me. So here, if you're mashing B, you'll go down to my mistake, and you'll have to talk to her again. So you have to make sure that if you want to deliver something, or say hello to someone, you want to be mashing A at the end of that cutscene. The text here can be really variable. Sometimes you get pretty fast text, and sometimes you don't. There's nothing you can really do to control it. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to run back into Tom Nook. So if you want to copy my splits and force shred splits to compare with us, then we have a split here called map, which is obviously when Tom Nook gives you the map. So I prefer to split right here when it goes into your inventory. So now if you press the X button, the map will appear, which is pretty useful if you need to go somewhere. Okay, so you need to pay really close attention during that text box because he only tells you twice who you have to write this letter to, and he won't tell you again. So if you forget, then you have to write a letter to a random person, and then try and deliver it, and then go back to Tom Nook and ask him to tell you again, and that wastes a ton of time. So you really need to make sure that you're paying attention there. So now we're going to run to the post office. I usually write the letter around here, it doesn't really make a difference. It's going to Penny, and then once you get into here, you can press start to finish writing, and then just AA, and that's done. Okay. So then you mail a letter, send it. And there you go. There's also some text boxes like that where you want to say no, so you want to mash B at the end of them instead of A. So it's really like a lot of remembering what you're trying to do. Alright, head back to Nooks. Another thing to note is that whoever you send that letter to, in this case it was Penny, that's who you'll end up delivering the Axe 2 later, so you can kind of get a feel for that chore and get know where to go. Okay, so here Tom Nook asks you to go do a chore for another villager. Ask them to ask them if you can do them a favor, and then they'll tell you yes or no. So as a casual player, you probably thought, oops, see there I was mashing B out of the text box. You probably thought that you were required to do this, but the truth is, if you select that top text box there to ask them if they have a chore for you, that clears the flag. So whether they say that they don't have a chore for you or they do and you say no, you're not going to do it, it doesn't matter, you're already done with that, so you can just move on. Okay, here's just a standard delivery. Take the carpet to Tad. So luckily opening the map doesn't waste too much time, so you can just verify that you're going to the right place. Like, I was pretty sure that Tad was over there, but I wasn't 100% sure, so. So yeah, that's actually one of my favorite parts of speedrunning this game, is like learning the village that you're in and the most optimal way to move through it every time. It's really fun. Okay, so mash A so that you pick delivery. Just press A through that section as well. Again, how much text he gives you is random, which is a shame. Alright, so now Tad has given you a carpet, and whoever you delivered the first piece of furniture to gave you some furniture as well. So you have 2 extra things in your inventory. So from any point between now and when you start setting up to do the item duplication glitch, you want to just drop those. I'm just going to drop them here, it doesn't really matter. So in order to drop things quickly, you press X over the item, and it selects it, so you can like select anything in your inventory. And then once you have everything you want to drop, you just press A on it and go to drop all. Okay, so there are going to be 2 more chores left to do. Okay, so now he's going to ask you to deliver the axe, and again it goes to whoever you wrote the letter to initially, so this will be to Penny. So no, Penny's right down here. She'll show you the letter that you wrote her, which obviously is blank because it's fast. Okay. Alright, so now Tom Nook gives you your final chore, which is just to write an advertisement on the bulletin board, which is in between the 4 houses. So you're just going to run up to it, press A, and then A to write a new entry, start, A, A. So it's A, A, start, A, A. And you can do that really quickly if you want to. Alright, so that's the end of chores. So that's the main randomness in the run, especially with the town layout and then needing to like get to the villagers in good order and all that stuff. So there's another split coming up if you want to copy mine again, which is just when you do the dance after your chores. And then what I'm going to start doing now is start setting up to do the item duplication glitch. Which isn't too hard to set up to get the items that you need at least. So split right there. It's going to show you a text box telling you that it's a sports fair, provided that you set your date to March 20th, 2013, as I said earlier. Okay. So this menuing is kind of annoying. You're going to say other things, and then go to say code. Alright, so this code is pretty easy to remember. It's a universal code, so it works on every copy of Animal Crossing English on GameCube. And the code is capital A. So a link to the PAS capital T. Then you're going to press Y to switch to punctuation and grab a hashtag. Go again. So now it's hashtag link go the PAS capital T again. So a link to the past, hashtag link go the past. And then he will give you a modern table, which is a 2x1 item, which is all that's required to do this. Okay. So now, because it's a sports fair, Tortimer will give you a free spring medal. So what you're going to do is run down back to the wishing well. Oops. The wishing well is usually pretty close, but I have a pretty bad layout, which is a shame. Alright, so depending on the event, Tortimer will be in a different place. This also feels a bit random too, but for the ball toss, he's in the top right. Okay, so now you have the table from Tom Nook and you have the spring medal that Tortimer just gave you, so you're ready to start duplicating. So you're just going to run back to your house. Okay, so this is the major trick of the game that breaks it. It's a bit hard to explain and a bit hard to do, but I'll try my best to explain it. So you're going to go up to the top right and grab your tape deck. Then open your inventory and you have the shirt that you were wearing before, so you're going to drop that there. And then you need 3 more shirts, but luckily you can just make shirts in your house out of these designs. So you just press A on a design, go to drop, drop as clothes. So I'm going to drop 4 of them. Well, 3 of these and one of that shirt are there. Okay, so now I have 4 shirts. So the way that this glitch works is I'm going to grab onto this shirt and I'm going to run upwards and I'm going to pause right about here. And this game's a little goofy where it's not going to know which of these 2 tiles that I'm in. I'm going to be like directly between them if I pause on the correct frame. And so we'll see what happens. Okay. So this frame looks good. I think it might be 1 frame too early. The way that you can tell whether you have the right frame or not is the line at the top of your menu, your in-game menu, and then the center brick you see that they're sort of overlapping. You want them to be like completely perfectly overlapping. So I think this is 1 frame too early. But I'm going to drop this 2x1 table and hold, run, and up at the same time after I drop it. And okay, that was 1 frame too early. That was too late. That was way too early. Early again. You can see that was about 2 frames too early. You want the 2 lines to be directly on top of each other. I think this is 1 too early, but we'll try it. Okay. This used to be really, really, really inconsistent, but Stock Folder ended up finding a setup for it. Okay, so I drop the table, and I get clipped inside the table because I... Okay, hang on, let me start over. So, the game thinks you're in, like, 2 tiles at the same time, right? It can't keep track of you because you're running and you're, like, changing tiles so fast. So, if it thinks that you're in... It thinks you're in 2 at the same time. So, it'll let you drop the table because you're in the lower tile down there. And then it will also clip you inside the table because it thinks that you're in the upper... You're actually in the upper tile. So it thinks you're in the lower one, but you're in the upper one. Excuse me. So that will put you inside the table, and then the table is like, nope, you can't be inside of me. So it forces you out to the right, and then just puts you on top of whatever's over there. So in this case, it's this shirt, and it puts me all the way up here. So then you're going to fall off of the shirt onto the table. So now you're standing on a plane that you obviously aren't supposed to be on, and you can do some pretty cool stuff with this. You're going to take the spring metal that Tortimer gave you and drop it on the table that you're also standing on. And then, here's where it breaks. You're going to pick up the table. Oops, I picked up the shirt. You're going to pick up the table that you're standing on. So now, this metal is free floating, and you can't really interact with it. It's like totally glitched and fucked up. But it also took the properties from the table that was there. So, it got corrupted and also is now acting as a table of sorts. So what you're going to do is take the tape deck that you picked up earlier and drop it on top of your corrupted table spring metal deal, and then pull it downward, and you're going to walk out of your house. And when you walk back in, the 2 items will switch places, and the string metal will be corrupted so that you can just pick it up. I'm going to drop the table because it's taking up room in my inventory now that I don't need it. Wait, I do need it, just kidding. So yeah, I'll enter the house again, and there'll be another string metal. So that's how this game is broken. You can just duplicate the spring metal as many times as you want. And I'm going to be setting up more of these dupes as the game goes on. So yeah. So on day 1, you only need to get 2 metals. So I made these little text boxes for you so you can remember. So 2 metals on day 1. So now I have 2 spring metals in my inventory, and they sell for 14,000 bells each. Approximately. I'm not 100% sure on that number. So you're going to walk in the next store, and you're going to sell him your spring metals. He'll give you 28,000 bells. So yeah, 14,000. Okay, so that's enough to pay off the first debt and then some. So with that extra money, what you're going to do is you're going to see your catalog. And since you own a tape deck, you can order more of them from Tom Nook. And you need 2 more to do 2 more dupes. The reason the tape deck works is because it's an item that you can interact with the A button to like put songs in and play. And for whatever reason, that's the requirement for the item to work with the duplication glitch. So you could do it with like a dresser or something. It's just tape deck is the easiest to get. Oops. So yeah, order 2 tape decks. And you'll have enough money, so don't worry. Again, you want to be mashing A through these, at the end of these text boxes, just to be sure. Okay. So now tell Tom Nook that you don't have anything else to say to him. Alright, now you're just going to run straight right over to the post office. Run straight up to Pelly, pick the second option, which is to deposit money to pay off your debt. And so it's going to automatically put your cursor in the 100,000th place. So if you just press up, it'll automatically put all the money towards your debt. So just press up, start. Okay. So as soon as you walk out, this will be another split. Your character does a dance to celebrate paying off the debt, and I always split when he punches the air. Alright, so there's debt 1 completed out of 5. So now you're going to run back to Tom Nook. You have to make sure after you pay off each debt, you walk back and talk to Nook, because he's going to tell you that you can upgrade your house and give you another debt to pay off. Alright. So this is going to be another text box that you have to press A at the end of. It'll ask you if you want to remodel. If you say please, it is a ton faster than saying no thanks. So that is a big deal. Okay. So there's that. Now you may be wondering why we dupe the spring metal instead of like bell bags. First of all, the largest bell bag in this game is 30,000. There's no bigger than that. And second of all, for whatever reason, the item that you duplicate has to be a 3D object when you drop it in your house. And when you just drop the when you just drop bells, they're just treated as like a sprite. They don't have any collision data, so you can't actually duplicate them at all. So yeah, once you pay off your first debt and talk to Tom Nook and say that you want to upgrade, you're just gonna go to your house, talk to your gyroid, save and quit. And that will take you back to the main menu. Okay. Press start. Here you want to not mash too fast because you can accidentally press yes, and if you do, you have to reset your game. To get back to this menu, because you have to say before I go to other things. We're going to advance the clock 1 month. You could advance it a day, but the problem is that you sold so much to Tom Nook that he's ready to upgrade his store. So if you go forward a day, you'll have your new house, but his store will be closed because it's upgrading. So if you just go forward a month to April 20th, that solves that problem. Pee-wee's gonna load up our town for us. Okay, so here we're gonna set up 2 more duplications. So you ordered 2 tape decks from Tom Nook. You're gonna open up your mailbox to get both of them. And then you wanna pause, and then go, press A on the letter, go to present, grab it. Grab the other present, put it in your inventory, and then you press A, go to open. Press A, go to open. Okay, so now we have 2 more tape decks. So you're gonna walk into your house. You're gonna make sure you pick up this shirt because it's in the way. And I pick up this one as well, which wastes a bit of time, but it gives me a bit more room. Drop your table here, to the right of the your duplication setup here, and then grab 1 spring metal, which again will be replaced, and walk outside. So this way you'll have access to 2 spring metals. Okay, so here's a trick that I discovered a long time ago, called blast off, which is if you can grab this tape deck and push it up, since the spring metal is like treated as a really strange object. And then if you let go, you'll just blast off into the sky. You can see me up here. So this just does walk on table for you, and you don't have to actually like do the trick again. And then if you just hold right, you'll fall off down onto this table. So then that just sets you up really well. So you just drop a spring metal, pick up the table like usual, set down a tape deck, and then pull it down to where it belongs, which is here. And then you're gonna replace the table. Make sure you do that. And then you're just going to grab this tape deck and push it back down, and then down again. Blast off again, drop off to the right. And then you're going to want to grab the spring metal out of the air, so the way to do that is just hold left until you're touching it. You can't fall off if you hold left, so you just walk until you're touching it. And then press B to grab it. Turn around. It's kind of hard to turn around in this tight of space. And drop the spring metal onto the table again. Pick it up for the last time. Put your last tape deck on top of it. Alright, so now you're done with walk on table, you don't have to do it anymore. So now you just want to arrange things so that they're optimal for duplication. And then you just walk outside, drop your table because you don't need it anymore. Alright, so now the duplications begin. So you're going to grab, on day 2 you're going to pick up 15 metals, which is a full inventory. So there's your little text box for you. 15 on day 2. So this can take a bit of time, especially at the beginning, before you have the basement, because you have to run out of your house and run back in. But you just want to count and make sure that you don't grab too many. So there's 6, I think. It only wastes a few frames to pause and unpause to make sure. Yeah, I have 6. 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12. This is actually the longest this will ever take. 13, 14, 15. Alright, so that's 210,000 bells, which is quite a large amount of money, as you can imagine. So then you're going to run over to Tom Nook. And this is really important. So Tom Nook has 2 text boxes that he has to get through. Like, he has 2 scripted conversations, and they don't play back to back. You have to walk out of his store and walk back in to get the second one to play. So the first one is going to be him asking you if you want to join the Happy Room Academy. So make sure you mash carefully here, because you want to say leave it to me. You want to accept his request. That's the fastest way to get through this text. Alright. So you can either sell your medals now or after the second text box. You just have to make sure that you get it. Okay. So walk out. Walk back in. Alright, so here is him telling you, asking you how you like your new house, and then telling you that you can upgrade again if you want to. Alright, so here is the second. Oh, just kidding, that's later. Okay. So he just tells you what your second debt's going to be, and you already have the money to pay it off, so you're just going to run over to the post office and pay it off. So yeah, you have to make sure that you get that second text box, otherwise you're going to be really confused when you run to the post office and you're like, yo, I want to pay off my debt, and Pelly's like, you don't have a debt to pay off yet. So if that ever happens to you, just remember you have to run back to Nook to get that second scripted event where he gives you your second debt. Okay, so again, run up to Pelly, deposit, press up, up, start. And then, okay, you have 71,000 bells, but the way the game takes money out of your inventory is really bad. So you're going to have to open your inventory and press L twice to deposit these money bags into your inventory. And then for me, again, this is a split for debt 2 right there. And then again, remember, if you pay off a debt, you need to run back to Tom Nook. And he will... Okay, so here is second very important text box from Tom Nook that you need to pay attention to. So make sure you don't mash through this too fast. So he tells you your options are enlarge the room or add a basement. And you want to make sure you add a basement first, because that's a lot faster. And that's the way that it's routed, so if you don't, then you're going to be a little bad. Okay. So there we go. We have our second enlargement. Then we're just going to go run save. Oops. God. I try and reach out a lot in this game, and then I'll look back at my screen and I'm bumped into some shit. Alright, save and quit. Alright, start. So again, you paid off a debt. So you need to make sure you go to other things, set clock. May. Okay, so this part is no, right, that's later. So now you have a basement, which makes this a lot faster, because you don't have to leave your house anymore to duplicate. You just go 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to run down the stairs to the left, and then keep holding left to automatically run back up them. Go 4, 5, 6, hold left, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. So now you have a full inventory of spring metals, and you also have a text box you need to see from Tom Nook. So you're just going to run back to a store and get screwed over by trees that just grew. So again, just smash through it, gives you a new debt to pay off. Sell your full inventory of spring metals. All. Oh, see there I made a menuing mistake. I was mashing B instead of A. Or I was mashing A and B, but I hit B on that dialogue instead of A, so that makes me have to go through the thing to sell it again. Alright, so day 3 is a bit interesting with the bells, because you're going to grab 15 as before, but what you're going to do is after you pay off the debt, you're going to have 7 extra bell bags in your inventory, and you're going to want to drop all of them on the ground outside of the post office. This debt's really small, obviously, so you're going to have a ton of money left over. So when you drop them, you want to make sure that you run out a bit. Oh wait, there's split for debt 3. You want to make sure you run out a little bit so that there's room, and then just X, 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 X on all 7, drop all. So you just leave the money there, run back to Tom Nook, because you just paid off the debt. Oops, there's another menuing mistake. You get an extra text box if you say that you don't want to upgrade your house. So you want to make sure that you're mashing A through those. Okay. So paid off another debt, got another house upgrade, and we're going to run back to our house, save, and quit. So again, before I go, oops, God. It's so finicky sometimes. So there I picked sound settings, which you just mash A through to get out of. Go to June 20th. Alright. This part is very interesting. So your house got bigger on the main floor. Because of that, you're going to have to move all your tape decks over in an optimal way. So the fastest way that I found to do it is to pull the bottom left one over and then down, and then push this down, 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 and then pull this one in like this. So there's 3 metals, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Alright, so 15 again. Another full inventory. But on this day, you're going to sell all 15 of those, and then you're going to go and pick up those extra 7 bell bags that you dropped from the last debt, which are just going to be hanging outside the post office where you left them. Alright, so get through that text box, sell your metals. Alright. You're going to pick up your bell bags from before. Now you have a very large sum of money. Deposit. Again, just mash up. Alright. So again, because of the way that the money is set up, you're going to grab one bag that is left over and drop it into your bell pouch. Walk outside, and here is the split for debt number 4. So 1 left to go, which is quite the doozy. The routing for debt 5 is really cool, actually. So for the last time, you're going to run over to Nook. Let him know you're done. He's going to mention that you can get a second floor. And again, make sure you're paying attention so that you mash A. Ask you for a roof color, you tell him red. Alright. So now we will time travel for the 5th and final time to July 20th. The dates aren't like super specific, it's just like you go forward a month, go forward a month, go forward a month. There's no like specific reason that it's July 20th instead of a different day. It's just fastest to go forward only a month. Alright. You go forward to July 20th. Okay. So this is a bit of a hectic day. So I'll just put up the route now so that you can kind of soak it in. So you're going to pick up 15 bags. Or 15 metals, not 15 bags, sorry. And now that you have it upstairs, you're going to do this method called the Yashichi sweep, discovered by our very own Yashichi, which is where you're going to switch off between running upstairs and downstairs, which is just a little bit faster. What do we got? 9? Yep. 13, 14, 15. Alright. So let's go clear that Tom Nook event and pay off, or sell some string metals. So it warns you this is the last dead and tells you it's 798,000 bells. Which is no problem for us. So go ahead and sell your string metals. Oops. Those mistakes are really easy to make, and they're really annoying because they cost a few seconds each. You have to like really focus on the game the whole time you're playing it. Oh, hang on, my AmaRec appears to have crashed. Hang on a second here. Alright, let me just restart it. Sorry about that. I'm not exactly sure when it crashed. Let me just try and fix it real quick. Okay, sorry about that. So all I did was I ran into Nooks, I cleared the text box, and I sold those string metals and got the bells. Okay. So now you're gonna want, for the routing for this, again you have, it's sort of goofy because you have so much to pay off. So you're gonna take all the 30,000 bell bags that you got from those metals, drop it on the ground, and just leave it there. Go grab another full inventory of metals. Alright. $14, $15. Alright. Okay. So I'm going to pick up the bells from before. Run to the post office. Alright, so unfortunately this time you can't pay off the whole debt in one, obviously. So pay off what you can. Okay. Alright, so now we're gonna get 15 more. 13, 14, 15. Okay. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to sell these 15 spring metals, and then instead of going to deposit, you only need 9 more spring metals to sell it to... You only need to sell 9 more spring metals, because you only have to sell 101 total. So, instead of running to the bank, running to the post office rather, and depositing these, what you can do instead is you have enough space to just go grab your last 9 metals with the money that you already have in your inventory. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and for the final time, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so there is the last of the metals. You should have 3,300... Wait, sorry. 336,000 bells. Alright, so that's all the money you need. Your debt's at 334,000 bells right now. So, deposit the last of it. Oh, hang on. Okay. I think I know what happened. I'm pretty sure that I missed a money bag that was underneath a tree and like I couldn't see it. Let's try and find it. There it is. Alright, sorry about that. So that's just a note on how stuff can be dropped behind trees and invisible. So you have to be careful about where you drop your money bags. So obviously that'd be a pretty big mistake. Anyways, if you did everything correctly, you should pay it off and have 1,400 bells left. And time will stop. Time end is right when you walk outside and punch the air, so right now. That's where you'd hit your last split, and you are finished with your all debts run. So that is a tutorial on how to finish all debts. Sorry about my AmaRec crashing, and for getting a bell bag. Nothing I can really do to control that. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can PM me on Twitch, you can tweet at me, you can comment on this video, I'll be reading all the comments. You can join #Animal Crossing on the SpeedRunsLive IRC. Those are all ways that you can reach me, or you can just PM me on the SRL IRC. Thank you again for watching. I hope you pick up the game. See ya.